Yo. I'm just kidding. I gotta make sure you're ready.
I'm ready. You ready?
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's do it.
Yo. It's your girl, Misha Dex, and
your boy, Keymon.
Why are you sitting so far away?
Why are you sitting so far away?
That's fine. It's hot. It's okay.
Yeah,
it's okay.
I know.
And your energy's bad.
And your breath.
You was disrespected. Well, I got a gift for you, just in case you was gonna come all sad, or it's been a lot going on in the world. So I said, what better way to cheer this man up than to give him his own button with my face?
I don't know if I'm button on your face.
Put it on.
That could be a meme, though. We can make that a meme.
Why?
Yeah, what you talking about? This face. No.
You really not gonna put my face on? I really wanted to make sure that no matter what you was dealing with, that you see that smile right here. Look how you smiling. Look at how you. It's already working.
I'm not worried that, but thank you for the kind gesture. I appreciate it.
Look.
Yeah,
it's already impacting you.
Cool, but I'm also not putting it on. No.
Look at that smile.
All right, so can we move on?
No, I need you to put it on.
No.
You don't ever say, I don't think about you.
I never said that, but I'm not putting that on. I'm not putting
anyway, keep my button back.
Okay.
You a hater.
No, I'm just not. I'm not about to wear a button.
This right here was gonna make your day. Like, this was gonna bring luck to you.
That's what you told yourself, or how did you land on? Yeah, I'm just curious. I know it's all about
Why are you being negative?
No, I'm just saying. How did you land on that? What's going?
Why be negative?
Oh, when you get shit like that. No, I'm just saying.
Anyway, it was really a joke, though.
Okay. Good. Nailed it.
But it did.
Bada bing.
First of all, it's bada bing, bada boom.
No, bada ping, bada ping.
Bada bing, bada boom.
No, ping, ping.
See, this is why you need to have another type of button.
Okay, go ahead. So, what were you about to say?
Anyway, how you doing?
I'm good. After that was a joke.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Good job.
No, don't touch me, because I don't want your stupidity to rub off on me. Too late.
No, I'm just...
Well, at least you admit you're stupid. Anyway, well, listen. It's a lot going on. Okay. So I will sacrifice being denied or rejected if that means it put a smile on your face, because let's face it, there is things happening in the world that, as much as we are all privy to, it all hits us differently, but at the same time, it reminds us of how important it is to laugh.
For sure.
Find laughter, find safe spaces to be jokeful in these moments, because it's a lot of stuff that you can't say right now. Yeah. Like, there's some sensitive things going on, and I'm not saying that people aren't right about being sensitive about them, but with all that being said, how are you feeling?
I'm okay. I think this is part of it in the years of just being in the years, like, it's always going to be something. So I think just finding that balance of how to navigate through it all helps, and also having conversations with folks who low-key give you your flowers right then and there. Because I called my cousin the other day, and we were talking, and I was telling him what was going on, and then obviously I was being a humble approach, or whatever case you may call it, or whatever, but he stopped me in my tracks and was just like, cuz you got to give yourself a little bit more credit than what you're giving yourself. And not to say I was being negative or anything,
but it's still.
But I took credit away from myself, and he saw that, acknowledged it, and called me out on it. So I thought that was pretty cool to to hear that from him. And I was like, damn, I really am like doing this thing, like doing the shit. Like,
so I gotta stop you.
Okay.
Because last recording, we talked about how you were content. Do you feel like from the last episode to now that you've been not so much tagged with being less content? Do you feel like you're still in a content place? I mean, or is it something regressed between last episode and now?
I wouldn't say it regressed. No regression anywhere since the last episode and this episode. The biggest thing was another purchase of a vehicle. So now obviously there's another payment, right? So again, trying to not go into that scarcity mindset, and also being grateful. Like I'm able to step out, go get that, and in the midst of me finalizing it, it was like I'm swinging. I'm just letting God deal with it. Mm-hmm. And so I got some things in the works, and and they're gonna fall through. And so I was just like, I'm just gonna wait. I'm just gonna wait for the timing for it to all happen. But I wouldn't say it was aggression. It was more so of like, you're doing what you said you wanted to do, and here it is. Like, and so just blessed with that opportunity.
Do you think that although in the moment of saying things that you want to do and feeling confident in those things, when those things actually take place and happen, do you feel like that's when imposter syndrome kicks in? Like, this is really happening the way I said it was going to happen? And do you feel like it causes like this heightened anxiety because now I'm doing what I said I was going to do. I did all the work to get here. So now that I'm here.
I think, but that's also comes with not slowing down. I think we move so much, or I move so much, that it doesn't allow me to sit and really reflect and really own in on these accomplishments, right? Like these abilities, and purchasing something is not necessarily a bad or negative thing, but like, hey, you had the opportunity to do it, you got it done, bam. Like
do you feel like you moved too fast, or do you feel like it was a necessary purchase?
It was definitely a necessary purchase for the family. Again, it was not like, I got a one seater or whatever, Corvette, or whatever the case may be. But again, though, and I tell myself this all the time, like, just continue to put yourself in positions where the possibilities can happen.
Yeah.
Right? You continue to move in intentions. You continue to do what you do. Put yourself in these situations where a possibility can happen.
I'm happy to hear you say that, because recently my godniece was being dedicated, and on the way to the church for her dedication, we walked by this coffee shop that happened to be a place where you can also buy records and like do studies and stuff. And like you already know, I want to create this dope concept of content rooms, coffee shop, event space. And what humbled me is that when I went in there, it was just one big room, and they kind of create these spaces where you can kind of do your own thing, but they also had this space where you can look through the vinyls and pick what you want, and then the coffee shop was in the back, so you had to pass all of the spaces in order to make any purchase, right? And so what humbled me was the fact that they were successful in executing the plan for them in a smaller space, and it made me think, like, and again, I could be wrong to say that maybe I'm making it too big of a place in the beginning, but it was humbling because it was like they were functioning. Like, it got my attention, and for someone that wants to create that space. And then I love the element that they were selling local artists art in there.
Yeah, for sure.
So I want to create this, as close to present than anything. But I also know that I can get in my head and I can start, downplaying how important this goal is, but also making sure I know that this is necessary. Yeah. I know that being a Black woman and a business owner is going to do something big for not only the women that are attached to me, like the babies, right, the young girls, but also my community and the lineage that I'm trying to. Like, I want my ancestors to be proud of me.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, that's a good thing. That's a beautiful thing.
But I'm looking forward to creating that path and making that purchase. Like, not even so much buying a building. I know we talked about it before, but leasing it. But I also feel like, no matter how big or small the goal is, it's ours. We have to own it, right? Yeah. So I know that ownership doesn't always have to be this tangible. I think the real ownership starts with owning the thought, believing that,
and moving forward,
and definitely moving forward. Or like your favorite saying, pulling the trigger.
Pull the trigger. Pull the trigger. I mean, and that's what it comes down to, because it's almost like you do, and then you figure out the rest after.
Yeah.
Right. Like you just figure it out. Like and. People like, oh, like when did you know it was time to have a kid or whatever the case may be?
You pulled the trigger.
Pulled the trigger, and literally. But also, there's no time. Like you just figure it out.
Yeah.
Like low income, best, rich, whatever. Like you just figure it out, and that's the beauty of being an adult. It's like you just gotta, or a human. Like you just figure it out.
But I think a lot of times what, which actually goes into a conversation I had that kind of swings the pendulum a little bit, is like it always comes back to confidence. Like being confident. Like I've tried all kind of stuff, right? And a lot of them didn't, end the way I wanted it to. Yeah. But it didn't stop me from moving forward with being more confident. Like, okay, that one didn't work. Let me put that same energy in this next project and then like see what happens. But speaking of confidence, you said something on the last episode when I was talking about doing the Get Ready With Me and being like this ideal person for people to look at that are plus size. And you said, well, it's other people that's not even plus size that deal with. Yeah. So I was talking to one of my friends named Monique. She lives in Atlanta. And we were talking about that conversation. And with my friend Monique, she is very shapely, right? And she wants to do content, but she don't want to show her face. And the reality behind it is because she doesn't want to be stigmatized because of her body. She really just wants this opportunity because she likes fashion like I do to do that. So she brought up the insecurities of people that have what people perceive as the better bodies, right? Yeah. And she was like, but you know who has it the worst? Black women. She said, because if you shaped with this, hips and butt and nice boobs, flat stomach, you get stereotyped for that.
But what's the stereotype? You don't mind me asking.
Well, like you get put in a box of a sexual object.
Okay.
Right? Okay. Like, so for her, she works for corporate America, right? So she has to watch how she dresses so her body doesn't enter the room, but for her skills do. Right? And because of the way you look, it's how you're cast in different spaces. Yeah. And I said, that is so interesting. And I said, because I'm coming from the angle of, oh, you got a pretty face for a big girl, or, and here you are pretty, you have a nice body, but even that comes with, I don't want to be put in a box. So I wanted to ask you as a man, because again, me and her are two Black women, given our experiences and how hard it is, no matter if you're thin, you got a nice body, but it comes with something all the time. Yeah. So as a man that's fit, right, and who also works out, do you feel like you ever get put in a box because of it? Or is it, for me, I think it don't come with no consequences.
No, it definitely does, because now it's a mindset of like, am I really that fit compared to others, or to others per se. Like I struggle with taking off my shirt at the beach. Like and this is when I was in like tip top shape. Like there were still some insecurities that come with being out of shape, and it was almost like for me, I think during that time, I was still looking for validation. Like I've done the men's physique shows and body. Like I've done it.
I gotta find that picture.
Yeah, definitely don't. But it comes with insecurities as well, and I think that's just a part of being human and having a flesh. Like no matter what you have, someone always gonna want it, and you always gonna want something that someone else has, and there's always gonna be a second guess.
Got it.
A second guess to, am I good enough? Is this really what it is? Like whatever the case may be. But yeah, it just because I was in shape doesn't mean I wasn't battling my own demons within.
Got it. So I'm gonna pause this right there.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say, think about, if you can tell me, when do you think the first time you recognized, like, I'm not perfect? Because I can tell you a story about when I was younger where I realized, like, oh, that's a thing. Like, do you have a recollection of like when you were younger and everything was great, and then somebody said, and that's why your head shape, or
oh yeah, I mean, shit, that happens on the playground before.
No, but where it actually stuck.
I can't go back to thinking about it from like that age, because I felt like we just used to talk about each other in general growing up. But I can tell you I had a moment actually yesterday golfing. Like I knew my buddy was gonna come and talk about my he's like, oh, you got a dad bod. Like I already knew it was coming. Like I already knew it was coming. So like, but what people don't realize though is like the smallest thing sticks.
Yeah.
Like we know it's probably not true, but it's gonna stick. Like, damn, is that really true? Like, is that really true? So yeah. So to answer your question, I don't know when. I don't know. I feel like just because growing up playing sports, like you just always crack jokes on people, right? And I can also say like, shit, I didn't get braces until I was 32. Yeah. Like in my 30s, right? And so, and my teeth were not the business.
But you was rocking it.
I was like, and you couldn't tell me nothing.
It is the kids was born.
Yeah,
you got married with the teeth.
Yeah. So, you know, so like again though, it's also understanding like again like you might have something, but it might be worse for the other person, because I know I had messed up teeth, but my breath never stank.
Right.
But I had homies who had perfect teeth, but they breath was
I cannot.
And so you get what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
No, I mean I have so many stories, but I wanted to talk about an insecurity that later on you found out was like a good quality to have, right?
So being sensitive.
What?
Being sensitive.
No,
I'm saying that was.
Oh, that was yours
for me. Being
I'm like being sensitive. Got it.
Being sensitive.
I mean, you still are, but
I am, man, and I.
But I told you, I appreciate you being a male and being sensitive and owning it, because there's so many that don't.
Yeah.
But I think for me, it was like getting teased for having big lips, right? And one of the main people that used to tease me for having big lips, and I used to didn't want to wear like, you know,
red lipstick.
You stupid. That's your granny problem. That was not my problem. But I didn't want to wear like lip gloss that was too shiny or anything like that, because I was like, dang, what's wrong with my lips? And then a few years ago, the same person that used to talk about my lips he said I look like I have Venus sausages on my face. That that's so disrespectful. But then when I get older, we had a conversation maybe like 5 years ago, and he was like, "Yo, that was so funny," and he was like, "And now all the girls want lips like that.
Yeah.
They get injecting their lips to have lips like yours." And I was like, "Why you didn't say that after the jokes?"
Yeah.
But you realize, like, because of not knowing better or having people remind you, and this is gonna segue to these babies, like when you don't have people reminding you to combat those jokes and things being said about you, you start kind of dumbing down your potential, and lips is just a small portion of what it is. I mean, even after, I didn't have a training bar wrong. Like I went from nothing to an A cup. I was like, I didn't train for shit. These boobs they grew. But I started wearing sports bras on top of regular bras to kind of make them small. And then when I finally got to a place where I was, wasn't hiding it, I was able to be more confident about them. But I feel like I want to make sure that the babies that I have direct contact with, right, they don't grow up taking those jokes from the playground, those negative thoughts about them, and then they start building who they are, shaping who they are around
based on those jokes.
Because I wish I would have opened up and said to my mom that people was talking about my lips, so she can say, "Ain't nothing wrong with your lips."
Yeah, and I think that just comes with being in this healed space that we're in to kind of open up that or create that space for that to happen. Because I think when Olivia, when she was younger, I always said I wanted to let her have a mentor that she can go to and confide in and have these conversations, just because I know the conversations that she have with me are going to be the different that she has with females. But I also want to put her in the right space where that person has her best interest at heart. Not necessarily think like me, but just have her interest at heart in the advice that she gives and receives, or whatever the case may be. But no, it's because they're I feel like they're imaginary blocks. Right? You someone tells you your lips ain't good over here. Then you go somewhere else, someone tells you your hair is not good. Then you go somewhere else, ashy, or whatever the case may be. These are imaginary blocks that are going to block pretty much the confidence that you put out into the world in the later years, and we have to work on
so much just unfolded for me, and I hope that this conversation as we unfold it helps somebody else realize how much they blocked where they can be with their confidence and stuff. So you made a comment about hair. So growing up, I've always had hair damn near to my butt, and I was the only chocolate girl, one of the only chocolate girls in our neighborhood that had super long hair, to where people, other kids just didn't like me because I had longer hair than them. And it got to the point where I stopped wanting to get my hair done. And Wanda nipped that in the butt. She said no, because my mom ended up getting her, became a therapist before she died. She said no, that's their way of telling you that you have beautiful hair.
Yeah, you have to be able to read between the lines.
But at 6, 7, 8,
it's difficult.
When she said that, and we already had an appointment made, and what I did love about one of my fond memories with my mom is going to the beauty shop. And it got to the point where my very first beautician outside of my mama in the kitchen was a lady named Sharon. And Sharon, when I started working at the church at 12, was like, or 10, I started working at church making the bulletins. Anyway, she was like, no, I wanted to stop paying me, let her pay for it. So not only did I learn at 10 And she only charged me what I had. She
Yeah,
never charged me the full price. So I would give her $20 and she would do this whole head that was probably worth $100. But my point was that what I did open up about with the hair thing turned into an opportunity for me to learn how important it was to invest in it.
Yeah.
Right? But also it taught me that everybody not gonna have what you have.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to own that. Yeah. And so even like, in the last couple of years I've changed hairstyles, but I do love this natural look. Like I do love wearing my natural hair out. Because I do want young Black girls to know that there's Black girls with hair. But you also have the opportunity to change it if you want and own your identity, even though you came from my braid last episode. I'm gonna let you have it. But again, it's you laugh because you.
Oh yeah, I'm just listening.
It's always the bald headed when they got something to say about hair.
You're right.
No, but it was, I wish I used that moment more often. Like when it came to other stuff, right? Not just the hair, the lips thing, the complexion. Like my grandmother, I always say, my grandmother and her siblings was the color of an Oreo. And I loved my grandmother's skin, and that's what we bonded over. I just wish that I knew to own that too.
Yeah, it's part of the I guess the journey.
Yeah,
and some people get it sooner than later, and some people just unfortunately never gets it. But I think as we continue to pour into the community and the lives of the youth, that we make sure to highlight some of those things, because you can feel when someone feel unease about how they dress or what their hair looks like or what like you can feel it.
And the crazy part, it be people that's down for you, but they struggle with their own appearance, that when you step out the box, I'll say it right now, and I always say it, I dress nothing like any of my friends.
Yeah.
Right? When I actually get up and get dressed and put my effort into it. And at the same time, that took a long time to step into because I always thought I was the least presentable, but the thing is, I just looked different from everybody else. Yeah. And then later on, you realize, like, you a whole vibe, but everybody don't grow into that.
Say for the people in the back room. What?
I'm a whole vibe. You're so stupid.
I just have to make sure everyone heard it.
No, because I've come a long way, and I don't.
Yeah.
But we all have our path, right? Yeah. And some of us it's accepting our body. Some of us is accepting our personality. Some of us is accepting that we may not grow eyebrows and you got to draw them in. Like it looks different. I just wish more people understood the importance of having our own stuff to own and make. Because if you rocking it right, like it was a thing where women couldn't have short hair.
Yeah.
And or black women couldn't have short hair, you get talked about because a lot of girls didn't grow up with having hair.
And you know what's crazy is I used to when I see ladies women who cut their hair short, I ask, was it like what motivated the decision? Right. And some have shared like medically or just like shit
because hair holds energy.
Yeah.
And I guarantee most of them said it was energy.
Yeah.
I broke up with a man, or I broke up with a woman, or I had a situation.
What does hair has to do with? Because I've met people where they shape like their whole because they got out of a breakup, or is it because they feel like the attachment?
So what I always say is, you can't ask a serial killer why they killed to understand it, because then that means you're going to understand the serial killer.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to let people own what they exception is. Like there's women that cut their hair off because of what came with it. Like me, I grew up with hair and I was known for hair. And people would ask me quicker than how I'm doing about if I really cut my hair off or is that a weave. Like, people identify you with your hair, and you're more than that. Just like people identify you if you had hips and you decide to go on a diet and then you lose all that that voluptuousness, right? It's more to me than that. And just because it's not an eyesore to you, it doesn't mean to me it don't come with that. Yeah. So some people cut their hair off because, like you said, it's connected to a relationship. Mm-hmm. Some people cut their hair off because it gives this fictitious idea. But also, some Black women cut their hair off because they don't want to be dealing with hair and trying to keep up with their health. Yeah. Like I talk about that all the time, working out.
That's a big thing.
But also, we don't want to fit this mold of, every time I do something, I gotta straighten my hair. Mm. Every time, and then your hair fall out because now you're trying to keep up with. Yeah. So anyway, it's so many angles.
Yeah, no, I hear you. That makes sense. And a lot of folks, females, because they be like, ex love their hair and they just want
I experienced that.
Yeah.
I experienced. Yeah. I'll just keep it short. I had an ex that loved the fact that I was a Black woman that he said, that wasn't mixed and had long hair.
Yeah.
Right? We break up and I kid you not, like I had braids and I took the braids out and I was fine with the breakup. Mm. Actually, I was the one that said if it don't work this time, then that's it, right? Took my braids out, and my hair was coming out with it. That's when I started wearing, start getting more weaves.
Really?
To get it back to here.
Yeah.
Because of.
Oh, that's not weird.
Damn. No. A whole wig? God. With that being said.
Why? Oh, we're not doing it?
This is our last show. We thank y'all for tuning in with us, but this is it. As a Black woman, I will not. Anyway, with that being said, why be
negative?
Negative.
Oh.